Ryan Reynolds was frustrated with the corporate executives who dragged their feet in the production of Deadpool.
You must be quite pissed off that, you couldn't make that decision for yourselves?
Yes, exactly. We tried, but the fans got it made. So there's a great story, too, that this is totally fan-driven in every way.
I guess people who don't know, they'll be thinking, why wouldn't the studio want to make this movie? It's a superhero movie. Everyone loves that. And it is a superhero movie, and it's got all those things. Yeah.
What was the meeting like when you're discussing with Disney the jokes about Disney?
The fun story would be that Disney was just appalled at everything and was never going to let us do anything. But that's on one hand. On the other hand, money. They had a lot of faith in us to deliver and to self-govern. So yes, there's jokes in there that I personally cannot believe they let us.
And in fairness, because we were like the kind of good boy students turning in our script every once in a while, and every time we sent a script, we were like kind of waiting, and the pushback never came, and it became clear that on this movie, funny wins.
Really, there was one joke, one line that they asked me to take out.
When I was on set, I was like, there's no way that's going to be him.
Yeah, I have a joke about Hugh that I couldn't believe he let me say in the movie. So that passes. I was like, wow.
Ryan Reynolds is reportedly furious with Disney CEO Bob Iger. What was supposed to be a major victory for Marvel, following the record-shattering success of Deadpool and Wolverine, has now turned into an all-out war. Instead of celebrating the success, Ryan and the creative team are embroiled in a heated battle with Disney over control of Deadpool's future. Tensions have escalated to the point where Ryan has threatened.
How much did you actually write?
I wrote on every Deadpool movie. I'm not going to.
Right, it's okay. I know you can't spell, so it's hard to write when you can't spell.
Well, I mean, pictures go a long way. Simple grunts. And also just talking. Wouldn't it be cool if we, do that kind of stuff, right? Yeah.
But he actually, I can tell you, he really did write this with Sean and the other writers, and he's an incredible, incredible writer.
Well, I'm not one of the great romantics, but it was...
And a generous writer, you really are. Do you like writing?
I do. One of the scariest things I've ever done in my entire life is writing for you. Wolverine, you got a legacy there that is one of the most iconic legacies in all comic book movies.
When Deadpool 3 and Wolverine finally hit theaters, it wasn't just a box office victory. It became a game-changer for both Marvel and Disney. The combined box office revenue soared past $1.3 billion, making it one of the most successful Marvel ventures outside of the core Avengers franchise. But it wasn't just about the money. The success proved that R-rated, edgy superhero films had a massive audience. Fans loved it, critics applauded it, and most importantly, it solidified Ryan Reynolds, Sean Levy, and the entire creative team as new power players in Hollywood's superhero landscape. Ryan Reynolds, the man behind Deadpool's success, saw this as a golden opportunity. He believed Disney would reinvest the profits into expanding the Deadpool universe, creating a bridge to spotlight more X-Men characters and set the stage for Deadpool-centric crossovers that fans had been clamoring for. However, Disney executives had a different idea. Roughly 45% of the $1.3 billion revenue, almost $600 million, was funneled into diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) projects. The issue wasn't DEI itself, but Disney's track record. Many of these DEI-focused films had historically struggled, with critics pointing out how. One major example was the recent The Little Mermaid live-action remake, which faced a wave of backlash and struggled to break even. Another was Eternals, a DEI-heavy Marvel film that fell flat at the box office despite its star-studded cast. This trend made Ryan Reynolds and the Deadpool team uneasy. They feared that Disney was using Deadpool's hard-earned success to prop up projects that didn't align with their audiences.
Written this short film about Deadpool. It was going to attach to Free Guy, and it was Deadpool interrogating the hunter who had killed Bambi's mom. And the rug pull of it, though, is that you think Deadpool's going to kill the hunter, but Deadpool's actually just a huge fan. He wants to know how he, too, can be as loathed as the hunter is in the Disney universe. And they just shut that down.
Ryan Reynolds wasn't just the face of Deadpool, he was its heart and soul. Together with Sean Levy, who directed Deadpool 3, and longtime writing partners Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, they had built Deadpool into a brand that was irreverent, edgy, and unapologetically unique. However, Disney's push to dilute Deadpool's tone with more inclusive messaging sparked immediate conflict. The Big Four, Ryan, Sean, Rhett, and Paul, took a firm stand against Disney's interference, frequently clashing with CEO Bob Iger and other top executives. The goal was simple: protect Deadpool's identity. But with every script review, Disney's DI team seemed to nudge them toward a more family-friendly narrative. They wanted to add themes around social justice, identity, and more diverse supporting characters. But it felt forced for a character like Deadpool, who thrives on breaking the fourth wall, raunchy humor, and edgy satire.
Wolverine, if he got the chance to deliver the line.
That's bait. Don't take
Don't
you take that.
How so?
Because you will be a meme, and then Bob Iger will show up at your house. You'll be neutralized by one of the people with blow darts.
It's true. So I shouldn't say the Wolverine would say, go f*** yourself.
Yes, that's the stuff.
Oh, yeah, boy!
One 4.5-minute interview ruined all of our careers.
Avengers!
Go f*** yourself.
Yeah.
He promised Ryan and his team that the success of Deadpool 3 would open the door for more ambitious Marvel projects. They discussed expanding the Deadpool universe, maybe even creating a new R-rated branch for Marvel films. However, when it came time to allocate funds, Iger's promises fell flat. Ryan didn't hold back, publicly calling out Disney for not honoring their agreements. But Iger brushed it off, claiming no such agreement had been made. He insisted that there was never an explicit promise to reinvest Deadpool's earnings into Marvel projects. Instead, Disney allocated a significant portion of the revenue to fund live-action remakes and other projects outside the Marvel umbrella. This not only went against what Ryan had been led to believe, but also stung because it felt like Deadpool's success was being siphoned off to fund.
I love what you said about wanting to entertain audiences, critics saying Disney's too woke, but you're just putting out storytelling.
We are. Look, I don't really like the term woke because I think it's an umbrella term that I'm not 100% sure I even know what it means, and one could argue that sometimes it's used too liberally. That said, our primary purpose is to entertain, and where we can entertain responsibly, obviously we try to do that. We try to have a positive impact on the world, but the first thing we need to do is entertain.
The tension wasn't just between Disney and Ryan. Hugh Jackman, who made a highly anticipated return as Wolverine, also felt deceived. He had come back expecting Wolverine to set the stage for a broader, grittier X-Men universe. But seeing Deadpool and Wolverine's earnings redirected to fund projects like the Snow White 2025 remake left him fuming. Ryan's reaction was one of outrage. He began openly criticizing the studio, sparking fears that he might walk away altogether. Currently, Ryan is set to star in up to 5 upcoming Marvel movies, including an ambitious Deadpool vs. Wolverine sequel, X-Men crossovers, and potentially even joining the Avengers. But Ryan's message is clear. If Disney doesn't get its act together and refocus on the Marvel projects they promised, he's ready to leave. If that happens, it could spell disaster for Disney.
To watch over a man and keep him safe, Deadpool took a peek through his apartment window and saw a strange gentleman walk through his front door.
I hope it doesn't sound condescending. I'm really proud of them. It adds a whole other color to this kaleidoscopic wheel that is that company. I was surprised that they let us go hard R.
And we had about 8 years to get that script right. This one, they gave us about 8 months. So really, it was just more of a holy shit situation. Let's all hands on deck.
Bob Iger has put Disney on a trajectory that prioritizes diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) across nearly all of its film and TV content. He has gone all in on this DEI agenda by hiring a high-paid DEI supervisor, rumored to have a 7-figure salary, alongside an entire team dedicated to ensuring Disney's future projects align with DEI principles. This department has gained significant influence, reaching into all levels of content creation, from scripting and casting decisions to reshaping classic characters and storylines to fit more inclusive narratives. Iger views this as essential for the company's long-term growth, especially in a world that is becoming increasingly diverse and where audiences are demanding more varied representation. However, this strategy has sparked fierce debate, particularly because it has led to funding being redirected from established and successful franchises like Deadpool and Wolverine to projects with unproven commercial appeal. The impact has been visible in the company's latest lineup. Films such as Strange World and the Willow TV series were heavily promoted as emblematic of Disney's new inclusive direction, featuring diverse casts and progressive themes. However, both titles struggled at the box office and failed to gain traction on streaming platforms, costing Disney millions in lost revenue. The 2023 Haunted Mansion reboot was another high-profile failure plagued by the same issues. Despite these setbacks, Iger has doubled down, directing even more resources to DEI initiatives, believing that this focus will pay off in the long term. But this approach is not sitting well with many within the industry. Critics argue that Disney is putting the cart before the horse by prioritizing representation over storytelling, risking alienation of core audiences who value engaging plots and character development above all else. Even within Disney, anonymous insiders have expressed concern that Iger is overestimating the financial viability of these projects, pointing out that Disney's recent quarterly earnings showed a decline in theatrical revenue despite a slew of DEI-focused releases. Ryan Reynolds, who has supported diverse projects in the past, sees this as a misguided approach, especially for Deadpool. He's voiced concerns that shoehorning DEI elements for the sake of it would feel forced and inauthentic, ultimately undermining the character. Deadpool's humor and appeal are rooted in pushing boundaries, breaking the fourth wall, and being irreverently politically incorrect. Trying to mold Deadpool into a mouthpiece for corporate diversity initiatives could erode the very qualities that made the franchise a
Wolverine, if he got the chance to deliver the line.
That's made. Don't take Don't you take that.
How so?
Because you will be a meme, and then Bob Iger will show up at your house. You'll be neutralized by one of the people with blow darts.
That's true. So I shouldn't say the Wolverine would say, go f*** yourself.
Yes, that's the stuff.
Oh, yeah, boy!
One 4.5-minute interview ruined all of our careers.
Avengers!
Go f*** yourself.
Yeah.
One concrete example of this conflict came during script revisions for Deadpool 3. Disney executives reportedly suggested adding a new sidekick for Deadpool, a younger, more diverse character designed to appeal to Gen Z audiences. While on paper this might seem like a positive change, the execution felt clumsy, with the character serving more as a token addition rather than an organic part of the story. Ryan and the creative team shot it down, but the fact that Disney was willing to compromise the tone of Deadpool for the sake of inclusion sent a clear message. DEI is now the priority, even if it risks alienating the franchise's core fans. The ongoing battle has already created significant tension within the production, as both Ryan and the creative team remain firm in their commitment to preserving Deadpool's unique voice, while Disney continues to push for a broader, more inclusive direction. The conflict between Disney's DEI-driven agenda and the creative vision for Deadpool 3 has started to affect production schedules. Delays in script approval, last-minute rewrites, and disagreements over character arcs have created significant friction between the studio and the creative team. At this point, it's not just about Deadpool. The outcome of this clash could determine how Disney approaches all of its major franchises moving forward, including Star Wars, Marvel, and Pixar. For Ryan Reynolds, the struggle has become more than just protecting the integrity of one character. It's about the future of Marvel Studios as a whole. With many of the original Avengers stepping back and Phase 4 films receiving mixed reviews, Ryan sees Deadpool as a key opportunity to rejuvenate the franchise and set a new tone for Marvel's next chapter. His strategy is simple: keep Deadpool edgy and true to its roots while using its success to reintroduce the X-Men and create a new, grittier universe that can coexist with the more family-friendly Marvel films. But Disney's fixation on DEI-driven narratives is complicating these plans. Ryan's team has pitched several ideas for Deadpool 4 and a potential Deadpool vs. Wolverine spin-off that would explore darker, more mature themes, exactly what longtime fans are hoping for. However, Disney's top brass have countered with suggestions that lean heavily into inclusive storytelling, such as focusing on a diverse ensemble cast, adding social justice themes, and even softening some of Deadpool's more controversial humor. As a result, Ryan has been rallying support among other key players in the Marvel Universe. He's reportedly been in contact with creatives behind the Blade reboot and the upcoming Daredevil, Born Again series, both of which have faced similar interference. If they can present a united front, Ryan believes they can convince Disney to carve out a separate space for mature Marvel content free from the constraints of the larger DI-focused agenda. But so far, Bob Iger has resisted, fearing that this could create a split identity within the Marvel brand. The stakes couldn't be higher. Disney is at a crossroads where its commitment to DEI is clashing with its need to keep billion-dollar franchises like Marvel profitable. Bob Iger's leadership is being tested as never before. Industry analysts have pointed out that if Iger continues down this path, Disney risks alienating the very fanbase that has made Marvel a cornerstone of modern pop culture. Ryan Reynolds has made his position clear. Either Disney allows Deadpool to remain true to its roots, or he walks. If that happens, it won't just be a blow to Deadpool. It could derail Disney's entire plan to integrate the X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. With Hugh Jackman already hinting at his reluctance to continue without Ryan, Disney could be on the verge of losing two of its biggest stars at a time when it desperately needs to reinvigorate the MCU. If Disney doesn't address these internal conflicts, it risks not just losing its top talent, but also alienating the very fans that made Deadpool and Wolverine a billion-dollar success. The next few months will be critical as Disney decides whether to stick to its DEI-driven agenda or make concessions to keep the Marvel powerhouse intact.